So, talk about some boring stuff first. Well, not boring. Okay, so this week I did make a Kinja's video. It was about the show America's Best Dance Crew, and it actually got a lot of views. I think it has like 5,000 views so far, and a lot of people commented. So it's just really cool making videos that people watch, because back in the day I used to get like 20. Some of my videos still don't have that many views, my old ones. I made the Marie Kondo video. I updated my playlist and stuff. Let's see. Shit. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so I made a new Marie Kondo video, and that was cool. There's some people that annoy me in the comments below. Occasionally, I think in the new one, there was this douchebag who was all like, "Oh, something. If you're doing it right, it's slow, fast." Well, he was just like a real douchebag, and I reported him for spam. But anyways, it was basically in this new video, I'm talking about location-based sorting versus category-based sorting because um, it's different. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, sometimes when people, say stupid stuff, it gets on your nerves. Yeah, that's basically it. I was planning on a trip. My parents are going to Taiwan, so I'm going to be going into Taiwan in November. What was actually really interesting was I felt really bad asking my employer to give me a week off. It's not like I'm not salaried, so they're not paying me during this time. But they're really busy right now, and it's like I felt bad asking for the time off, and I was really afraid like I was gonna lose my job or something like that. And even now, I still think, oh, okay, if you're going to Taiwan, let's just assume that you're not gonna be working anymore. It's like I have this really bad fear, dude. It's like it's really fearful because one time I did lose my job, for a week, and I'm just freaking out about it. But anyways, that. Oh, also, I will be going to Carnegie Mellon, my university, to speak for a conference in 2 weeks. And so 48 people RSVP'd on Facebook already. So holy shit, I have a large ass audience. So I gotta start really preparing for that. Hopefully, I will record the entire thing, so it'll be like a freaking keynote, and I can have it on one of my videos at Project Life Coach, which will be really cool. All right. So then the entree of this video, what I really want to talk about is I went on a date this week with a girl I met on OkCupid, and I drove. She lived kind of far away, so it was about an hour drive. We met up for lunch on Friday, and I was there around 12. I rushed there, and she was. It was like 12:20. Anyways, I think I was like I got stood up. Basically it was like 12. I texted her every like 10 20 minutes, and I was like, man, she's not responding back, and it I felt like a little angry. I was like, oh man, I went all the way over here, wasted my time. I drove really far. She seemed really enthusiastic over text, and ultimately it was just like this sadness that came over me, and I was like, okay, wow, this is like, I tried to be really mindful and aware during that time. And I was like, okay, well, I'm already this far. I don't want to just drive back for nothing. So I just gonna start having lunch. I texted the girl. I was like, hey, I'm just gonna start eating without you. If you come, I'm inside. But anyways, around an hour after the date started, she was like, oh my God, I overslept because I learned later that she was up until 4 a.m. that day and she overslept. So thought it was kind of adorable, I guess, but whatever. Anyways, so yeah, that was mostly it. Getting the that was the experience of getting stood up. It was really interesting. Even though she said um, it was just interesting feeling. Yes. So anyways, so I gave her a call and we're like, oh okay, and then what happened was she couldn't get there because her mom took her car, so she didn't have a mode of transportation. So I was like, oh okay, it's alright then. But then let me see. Should I say this? This is embarrassing. Well, anyways, and then she was like, oh, let's go get ice cream. You know, if you want to go get ice cream if you're not busy. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So so this is a pretty interesting story. Shoot, we're already at 5 minutes. So at first, I thought she was actually inviting me to her house for ice cream, right? So I'm like, whoa, she's inviting me back to my apartment, you know, her apartment, right? So as I was driving there, right, I was like, this is really interesting because this kind of ties into sex talks. All right, she wasn't actually inviting me to her apartment. She was, I was gonna go pick her up and we were gonna meet for ice cream. But to me, it sounded like we were gonna hang out at her apartment or something like that. Um, but I was like, oh shoot. So I was like, oh cool. Like, what if this is really funny. I was like, oh no, what if she wants to have sex? Like, I didn't bring any condoms, you know? And then, of course, I was like, well, this is only like the first date. You're not gonna have sex on the first date. I mean, come on, you don't even know this person, of course, But so I actually made the decision that I was gonna go buy condoms, because I was like, okay, well, if I don't buy condoms now, it's like, let's say we really like each other, right? And then you want to have sex, but you don't have condoms. If I don't get condoms, it's like you're already saying no, even if it doesn't happen, no. But I was like, if I do buy condoms, then it's kind of like saying I'm open to the possibility, you know. And so I went to a drugstore, a gas station, and it was kind of funny. I went in, and then I was like, there was a lady at the counter who was like, "Oh, can I help you?" And I was so embarrassed. I was like, I was really embarrassed, and I stood around. I was like, "Oh, just a second." I was looking around to see where the condoms were because I didn't really know. And then I was like, there was like a guy behind the counter. I was like, yo, dude, come here. Like, where are the condoms? you know? But I ended up being more open about it. I was like, yo, dude, like, which one do I get? There's like 5 different colors. There's like pink, yellow, black, blue, and like gray. I'm like, which flavor do I get? Like, I don't know. And we're like talking about it, and it was really funny. We were making jokes. Um, I was like, so what condoms do you use? And this guy was like, this guy was like, oh, he's Mexican, so he doesn't use condoms. So I didn't know. Um, but this guy was like, no, it's because I'm married, that's why I don't use condoms. But it was really funny asking these guys. So it was kind of like a bro moment. And it was kind of like awkward and embarrassing. And they were telling like the lady, like, oh, this is like a guy thing. The lady who working at the gas station was getting embarrassed too. And it was something, I think I bought condoms before, even though I've never had sex, but I just wanted to buy it. And the first time I bought condoms, it was really like embarrassing. I was like, not make eye contact or anything. But this time when I bought condoms, it was like funny and joking, and it was like really more. That's what I really ultimately want, to be less stuck up and a prude about it, and not so embarrassing. And yeah, so that was definitely, I didn't have sex that day, just spoiler alert, but it was really fun to just to kind of overcome that fear, and it was a big stepping stone for me. And one more thing that I think is really interesting. Okay, so it was a pretty cool date. We went to a park, and then we went to the night market after and stuff like that. And the girl's really cool. And I'm sorry for putting this on the internet. Girl I went on a date with. But I'm not mentioning your name. Is this okay? I don't know. Um, I'm sorry. I'll beg for forgiveness later. But anyways, I actually, that condom story I just told you, I told her. And you usually wouldn't think of telling a girl that you bought condoms, but it was kind of like a funny story, and we laughed it off and stuff like that. And it was cool. We ended up going to like Baskin Robbins to get ice cream. So it was really fun. We went to a park, and let me see. Afterwards, we went to a night market. And what I want to say is, so we spent actually the entire day together. Even though I thought she stood me up, but I was like, huh, this is interesting. Let's see where it goes. And it was pretty interesting. And after a while, after I got to know her a little bit, and we're walking through the crowd, and there's a lot of people, I just wanted to like hold her hand. Like the Beatles song, like I wanna hold your hand. I was like, oh, it would be nice to hold her hand, but I didn't really know how to segue. So, anyways, I was like, hey, can I hold your hand? And I reached out and held it, and she was cool. Um, and it felt really good. It was like really fun. It was comfortable. it got to the point where it was like we were comfortable and we had enough rapport and conversation where it wasn't awkward, you know. And I had this epiphany, okay, and I told her this story after, and she thought I was kind of weird, and maybe it's kind of weird, but anyways, this video is for myself, not for you. Okay, so when we think about sex, right, I feel like I'm usually on two ends of the spectrum. Okay, there's two ends. One end is like sex is very, very serious. You have sex with someone, you're in love, you're only in love, and you're going to get married. That's when you have sex. Okay? And the other, that's what I'm kind of, I was brought up as really traditional, what I'm used to. And on the other end of the spectrum, right, is like the Tinder thing. Sex is just sex, it's casual. It's something you do. It doesn't really mean anything. It's casual sex. And that's on the other end of the spectrum. One end, it means a lot, and the other end, it doesn't mean anything at all. Emotionally attached, you know? And, and there's something in the middle, okay? And so I had this epiphany when I was holding her hand, right? When I hold her hand in some cultures, maybe in really conservative Asian cultures, like, wow, that's a huge deal, oh my god, you know, like that means you're boyfriend girlfriend if you guys hold hands, and on the other end of the spectrum, it might mean like, oh, it's not a big deal, it's just whatever, I don't like this person, I guess that would be really casual, and I felt like I was in the middle when I held her hand. It was like, it's not like, okay, now let's be boyfriend and girlfriend, I love you forever. Like, no, that's not what it meant. But it didn't mean nothing either. It's not like I didn't like the person. It was somewhere in the middle where I was like, hey, I kind of like you. You're like pretty cool, and I wanted to hold your hand. And maybe I can shift my mindset in terms of sex to be something similar, where it's not like, okay, if we have sex, we're getting married. And maybe it's not like Tinder, casual sex, it doesn't mean anything at all. Oh, maybe not Tinder, whatever. Maybe it's something in the middle where it's like, oh, we do like each other, and we're passionate and really are intimate, but doesn't necessarily that we're getting married and spending the rest of our life together, but doesn't mean that like there's no attachment either. There's also emotion behind it, and I think that's something that's more reasonable and logical, like a balance of the two extremes. So yeah, that's what I'm getting at here. So didn't have sex that day. Okay, period. All right. Hope this doesn't embarrass anyone. Maybe I should give her a heads up that I made this video. Okay, bye.